Speakers today, thank you for being here. Give it up for the groups that put this on. Give it up for yourselves for showing up. Thank you for being here to stand in solidarity on the front lines of our democracy. I've been asked to speak today about some of the anxiety, frustration, and anger that has come to define a generation. But I also want to offer some perspective and inspiration, because the past serves as a roadmap for where we go in the future. 250 years ago, my ancestor, Seth Hubbell, was a young citizen soldier in the Continental Army, fighting against King George and the tyranny and oppression of the British monarchy. It stands today a cruel irony that we gather here, a bulwark against the tyranny and oppression of the Trump administration. We know that this administration has abdicated its responsibility to our lives, our liberties, and our pursuits of happiness. We see it in the launching of an illegal war. And we saw it on the streets of Minneapolis. With the senseless murders of Renee Good and Alex Preddy, whose lives were extinguished at the hands of a weaponized federal agency whose agents have been shielded from prosecution. But we also see it closer to home. We see it in the struggles of our neighbors. I think of my coworker who works a meaningful full-time job in the special education classroom. And instead of going home to be with his children at the end of a long day, he goes and works 20 hours a week at Walmart to be able to afford to support his family. Between unaffordable healthcare premiums and gaps in coverage, he's forced into a system where even basic care comes at extreme financial risk. I'm sure some of you share that struggle. Between the Republicans' refusal to negotiate healthcare in good faith and their passing of the so-called one great big beautiful bill that betrays Americans, money is being taken out of your pocket and handed in the form of tax cuts to the wealthiest 1% in this country. With that said, it is time we passed universal single-payer health care and recreate a system that centers human dignity instead of corporate profit. Corporate profits are at record highs. It's true, look it up. But between the cost of tuition and healthcare and housing and gas and groceries, we know the middle class in this country is shrinking. People are being left behind. We are not crazy to feel this way. It is by design. And with this in mind, we must act. It is time to act. We are acting. We must band together to overturn Citizens United and get big money out of politics. And where do we go from here? I don't pretend to have the answers, and some of you have got some great answers. I'd like to hear them after this. But I suggest before we look to our future, we honor our inheritance. We can take grit from those brave continental soldiers who battled the most powerful empire on earth to gain our independence. We learn defiance from the abolitionists and the operators of the Underground Railroad. We find dedication in the soldiers who consecrated the field of Gettysburg to ensure the ideal that all men are created equal. We learn persistence from the suffragists who demanded equal access to the ballot, and the workers who broke their bodies to break the grips of the robber barons. We draw courage from the greatest generation, who crossed oceans and stormed beaches to extinguish the darkness of fascism in World War II. And we draw inspiration from the songs of struggle, from the civil rights movement, and the roar of a generation demanding an end to the bloodshed in Vietnam. This nation has never known a day without struggle. Every generation has had to carry the weight of history. And now that weight has been passed to us, and we must shoulder it for the next generation. Young Americans are being robbed of their futures. Our power lies in our solidarity. But the foundation of that collective power rests upon each of us as individuals. So I implore you, get involved, engage your power as an active citizen. Check out the booths represented here today. Volunteer with one of the many organizations. They will benefit from your voice, I guarantee it. Join your local PTA, support the educators raising our children. Volunteer for a campaign, register to vote. Make sure you are registered yourself, because when we exercise our powers to vote, we become architects of our future. When we organize, we are not just faces in a crowd, we are a historic force. Because if history teaches us one thing, it's that the only thing that has ever defeated the people in power is the power of the people, and that power is ours. Thank you.
Okay, let's give it up for Tyler, Ava, and all the rest of our speakers today.